Mogho Naba is the title of the reigning monarch of the Mossi ethnic group and reigns over a traditional kingdom that dates back to the 12th century. The title means king of the world in the language of the Mossi, who constitute about 40% of the country's population of 17 million. In the ancient Mossi state of the Volta Valley, for instance, the French applied the policy of preserving the paramount authority of governing the Mossi people through the authority and its subordinate agents. But to ensure that the Mossi authorities had no doubt as to where sovereignty now lay and did not obstruct their rule, the French set out deliberately to weaken the traditional political system before hitching it to their own administration wagon. First the central authority, then the provincial authorities were undermined. Said Commander Destinov, in his words, "We have no interest in strengthening the power that is regarded as essential, nor in increasing the powers of the various Nabas. On the contrary, we must look for the points of stretch which will permit us to divide the country and thus preclude any coalitions against us. In doing so, the authority of the Mogho Naba itself will be weakened because we can easily acknowledge the independence of these great princes and free him from their influence. In future, we shall seize every opportunity to weaken the authority of these vassals by declaring the independence of the villages under their command." Thus, on capturing the kingdom of Ouagadougou, the French treated the paramount chief Mogho Naba Bakari Katu, who led the resistance against them and had fled his capital when his forces were dispersed and disposed. They appointed in his place Mogho Naba Sekiri, whom they were confident of controlling. But this man turned out to be a passive resistor and would tell the French nothing about his kingdom to his people or his predecessor. The king of the Mossi complained the French is lavish with his vows of devotion and fidelity, but these vows are never translated into action. It is impossible to obtain any pertinent information about the country he tries to give the impression that he knows nothing about. When therefore the Sigurd died in 1905, the French appointed of Mogho Naba his 16-year-old son, Sadu Congo, since the reasons that child would be more amenable to control than an obscurantist adult. The Mossi kingmakers thought the boy too young to keep the country, but to the French this was the strongest argument in his favor. 2 years after the elevation of Sadu, the French went a step further to weaken his position in order to make him and his chiefs dependent on them. They reorganized the provincial administration and the process suppressed certain principalities and districts while enlarging others. At the end of the exercise, some chiefs and functionaries saw themselves subordinate to their former equals, and members of the royal family were forced to become strict chiefs. For instance, the Mogho Naba's principal ministers responsible for provisional administration were disposed and their places given to men approved of by the French. The new appointees were given wider powers, and their predecessors on the grounds that the young Mogho Naba could not exercise some of his traditional powers. They played him. Furthermore, the traditional order of precedence was tampered with, and the territorial responsibilities of the chiefs determined without reference to traditional practice. Stay tuned this Sunday. Stay tuned this Sunday. We have a treat for you on the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. The birth of Liberia from a West African perspective. This Sunday. Pick up Killmonger's Corner, the first conscious community journal, today on Amazon.